Would anybody else from the public like to be heard on any matter this evening? Sir.
This is a non-agenda item?
It's a non-public hearing agenda.
There is an agenda item, a resolution.
It's okay.
Yeah, you can talk about anything except an ordinance that's on final, so.
Right, yep, so it's open discussion.
Thank you. My name is Mike Azarian. I live at 110 Koch Lane in Old Tappan. I just wanted to mention a couple of comments about the handgun carry permit fee. That is a resolution up before this board. I don't know how many permits are issued in town. I don't know how much money the town receives from this, but I believe anyone who owns a handgun and can afford a handgun and wants to have a concealed carry should certainly be able to afford the fee for that. And I believe those fees can be used to further educate people in our town, our children and our students on the safety of weapons and how dangerous they are in the community. I wish the council will take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Would anybody else from the public? Please, sir.
Joseph Laporto from New Jersey Firearm Owners Syndicate, Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, and again, also representing the National Rifle Association and the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. Again, I just want to thank this committee for considering the resolution on the docket tonight, the refund of permitting fees. As I said last time, no constitutional right should be hidden behind an exorbitant paywall. And to recognize the prior gentleman's comments, we do appreciate the fact that there's administration that goes along with this, but at the end of the day, no one should be charged for the right to come here and speak to this council. No one should be charged for the right to exercise their religion. The Second Amendment is not a second-class right. It is the same as anything else in the Bill of Rights. And there are certainly people who are foreclosed from exercising their rights to protect themselves because of these exorbitant fees. So it is just factually untrue that anyone can afford these things. I know I took a lot of your time last time around, and I'm sensitive to that, and I don't want to drag this out any further. I just want to thank everyone for both listening to my testimony in the last session, and I wanted to again voice support on behalf of our nearly 100,000 members across the state of New Jersey, and I hope that that resolution will pass this evening. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hello, Patrick.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Patrick Ambuti Jr., 16 Autumn Lane in Old Tappan. I typed this up because I got not too long, a couple of minutes, but just so you guys know, I'll be reading, sorry. I'm not here to question anyone's constitutional rights, but to raise some serious concerns I have about the proposal to eliminate Old Tappan's concealed carry permit fee. I am aware of the arguments in favor. Our fundamental rights should not be impeded by cost. For some people, even $150 is a lot, and I respect the idea that exercising one's rights should be accessible. But while that argument has a point, we have to think about the practical concerns, consequences that fall squarely on our town, our police department, and our taxpayers. That $150 municipal fee covers real costs: fingerprinting, coordination, background checks, staff processing, municipal oversight, and court coordination. If we eliminate it, those costs don't disappear, they're simply shifted to the general municipal budget. That means every resident, gun owner or not, will effectively subsidize the permitting process, including people like me who do not like guns, and I especially don't like the idea of concealed carry guns. A big point for me as I learned about this fee is that the $150 fee is actually just one small part of the cost for obtaining and maintaining a concealed carry gun. Applicants also face approximately $50 to $60 for fingerprinting, around $20 for the statewide background check, and $50 to the state for its fee. Then there's the mandatory liability insurance of $300,000 coverage, which costs hundreds annually, potentially. Then there's the required live fire training, safe handling education, and legal instruction courses, plus ammunition and range fees. These costs can add up to several hundred, potentially $1,000 per applicant, which does change the way you have to look at just that small part of that fee. Eliminating our piece of the fee doesn't meaningfully diminish the overall financial barrier. It simply shifts the cost for processing those applications. I don't personally like the idea of people carrying concealed weapons in the first place, but without the fee, funds could be lacking to conduct thorough reviews, which increase the risk of incomplete vetting or longer backlogs that pressure staff to rush approvals. If our town can't keep up with that volume due to the reduced revenue, there's a greater chance of errors, potentially and accidentally, approving people who shouldn't qualify, like people with unstable mental health histories, domestic violence concerns, or disqualifying criminal records. A larger number of guns carried in public, combined with potentially weaker screening, increase the risks of guns being present in conflicts like bar fights, road rage, or domestic disputes. Just for one note, I'm not going to read this whole part, but just for one note, since the Bruin decision, permit applications in our state have gone up by 61,700 applications between then and January of this year. So that's a lot of extra guns on our streets. If our municipal budget has to be used to cover permit processing costs, it could mean fewer dollars for school resource officers, community policing programs, and emergency response resources. In other words, eliminating the fee could indirectly reduce other forms of public safety protection. We are a small community with limited funds. You guys know that for sure because you work your butts off in the beginning of the year, every year, to make sure we have enough to do what we need to do. Our roads need repaving, our public safety initiatives need support, EMS and our firefighters need resources, our schools need resources. Do we really want to pay back a $150 permit applicant when those needs exist? I understand and respect the principle of fairness, but fairness is not just about reducing costs, it's also about shared responsibility and equitable treatment. We must ensure that rights are exercised in a way that is safe, that our local government remains fiscally sound, and that all taxpayers are treated fairly. Personally, I don't want a single cent of my taxes raised for somebody else's concealed permit fee. That covers the basic cost of obtaining that fee. That's part of what they're paying for, is the cost of all those things that have to be done so they can have that right to carry that concealed weapon. For these reasons, I urge you guys to think carefully before you make your final vote and eliminate our municipal fee. I respect the rights of gun owners, whether I like them or not. I mean the guns, not the people. But I do respect the rights of gun owners. But let's also respect the responsibilities we have to one another and to this community's long-term well-being. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to be heard on any subject matter tonight?
Motion to close.
Second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, moving on to, okay, moving right along, we have a resolution on our agenda tonight, and that'll be for Councilman Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. Before we get into that, I just want to make a couple comments. So shortly, we're going to be voting on the resolution to authorize the refund of the municipal portion of the handgun carry permit fee that NJPL 2022 Chapter 131, enacted. Bottom line, Chapter 131 is bad legislation that is discriminatory. It's unconstitutional and should have never been passed by Trenton. Quoting the NJFOS, imposing massive fee increases on these rights has no public policy objective other than to limit the access of the poor to a core constitutional right. And by inevitable extension, that has a disparate impact on classes of New Jerseyans based on race and ethnicity, end quote. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. So a couple things that I just wanted to address. The $150 fee that is the municipal portion of the carry permit. That's only been in existence since December of 2022, okay, under Chapter 131 that I just read. Prior to that, never existed, and that was in response from Trenton to the Bruin decision in June of 2022, which basically made every state in the nation, turned them from the state that was possibly a may issue state, now they were a shall issue state. All right. Keeping that in mind, and setting aside CCW fees, and I respect everybody. If you don't like handguns or long guns, that's fine. However, the same process, background checks, has to be done when somebody goes to get a firearms ID card, which they need in the state of New Jersey. The same background has to be done when somebody wants to buy a pistol. They have to get a pistol purchase permit through our local PD. So that's been done anyway. It's always been done. There's no extra cost for the police to do these things. This $150 fee was basically a slap to law-abiding gun owners in New Jersey. And that was done, in my opinion, it was a malicious thing. And there's one thing that, and I said this in the last meeting, if any of you saw the video, and Mr. Laporto said it, there really shouldn't be any fees associated with exercising your constitutional rights, in my opinion. It was mentioned before that there's a mandatory insurance in New Jersey for a concealed carry. That's absolutely false. It's actually illegal, and that was, I believe, Governor Murphy, Mr. Laporto?
Struck down by the Third Circuit.
Right, struck down by the Third Circuit. So it's actually illegal for a concealed carry permit or a gun owner to actually have liability insurance to carry a weapon. So I don't know where that information was gathered, but that's incorrect. Believe me, if they had it, I'd probably get it. Anyway, so just, I don't want to get sidetracked. Basically, the other thing I wanted to point out, and when you think about the fee, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect most people in this room, I'm sure, or everybody in this room, but it does affect a certain population, right? Folks that maybe can't afford it. And if you look at, according to the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, I'm a Hispanic male, so Black and Hispanic residents experience poverty at more than double the rate of white residents in the state of New Jersey. So who are we really affecting here, right? Anybody who's low income, and we know, based on what the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice says, that it's Blacks and Hispanics are 2 times more likely to be in poverty. So I respect everybody's comments, but I just wanted to put that out there because I think it's important that we kind of see what we're voting on. We're not voting on more guns on the street. What we're voting on is a section of the municipal portion of the $150 fee that the state says that, hey, you guys are going to collect this and do, have at it. And to answer the last question before I read the resolution, as of July 1st, we had 19 applicants and residents in Old Tappan, which equates to about $2,850 in municipal fees that have been collected so far. So anyway, thank you for your time, and please allow me to read this. All right. So resolution, whereas...
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Can I make a comment before the vote?
No, let me read the resolution first.
Then I can comment?
Resolution
Resolution
second,
first?
then
Okay.
we'll discuss.
Yep.
Got it.
Whereas pursuant to NJSA 2C58-4, applicants for permits to carry a handgun are required to pay an application fee in the amount of $200, of which $150 is paid to the municipality and $50 is paid directly to the superintendent of the state police. And whereas the Borough of Old Tappan recognizes that the statutory fee structure imposes financial burdens on applicants and wishes to ease that burden for residents by offering refunds of the municipality of Old Tappan's portion of the application fee. And whereas the Borough of Old Tappan recognizes that the United States Supreme Court has long held that taxes on fundamental rights are unconstitutional, and that the statutory fee prescribed by NJSA 2C58-4 is in excess of a mere processing fee and is therefore a tax on a core constitutional right. And whereas the Borough of Old Tappan has determined that it is in the public interest to establish an administrative process for refunding the $150 municipal portion of the application fee upon appropriate documentation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Old Tappan, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey as follows. 1, refund authorization. Any applicant who has paid the $150 municipal application fee for a handgun carry permit on or after August 18, 2025, and who submits a valid receipt showing payment may apply to the Borough of Old Tappan's Chief Financial Officer for a refund of $150, representing the portion of the statutory fee paid to Old Tappan under NJSA 2C58-4. 2, procedure refund shall be issued upon applicant submission to the CFO of A, proof of payment, and B, confirmation that the application was processed through the Borough of Old Tappan. 3, limitation. This refund policy applies only to the municipal portion of the fee and does not apply to any amounts remitted by the applicant directly to the State of New Jersey or other agencies. Refunds shall be available only for payments made on or after August 18, 2025. 4, effective date. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. 5, administration oversight. The Borough of Old Tappan CFO is hereby authorized to administer this refund program and to require any reasonable documentation necessary to confirm eligibility. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be made available to the public and posted on the Borough of Old Tappan website for informational purposes. The within resolution, excuse me, I'll stop there.
Do I have a second on it? Well, that's once again, do I have a second on this resolution?
Second.
Second. Okay, discussion.
I have some comments, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
So, Councilman Marty, thank you for your comments, and I do respect your opinion. But I want to begin by saying that I do not oppose anybody's right to own a firearm, nor do I oppose the right for anybody to protect themselves through concealed carry. While I do oppose unnecessary fees and taxes that overburden our taxpayers, I believe that the suggestion that this is unnecessary and maybe redundant, even unconstitutional, I don't agree with that. It's been suggested that our police department does spend countless hours in processing each and every one of these applications, so that in itself costs money. And just a little discussion on fees. If you own a dog or a cat in town, you know you pay a license fee every year. And that license fee helps us run a clinic for vaccinations or rabies vaccinations and things like that and other animal control programs. If you put an addition on your home, you pay the building department a fee to make sure an inspector comes out to make sure it's built according to code and it doesn't endanger your life or anybody else's life. In my mind, fees don't infringe on your right to own a pet, build on your property, or even own a gun. Rather, fees help us offset the costs when residents decide to exercise some of these rights and don't impose on others who choose not to. So when mulling over this resolution, I kept asking myself, what does this mean for Old Tappan? What does this really mean for the residents of Old Tappan? And from where I stand, it seems that certain groups outside of our town are more interested in getting this resolution passed than the Old Tappan residents themselves. So my concerns begin and end with with matters that directly affect our residents. Amongst other things, I really concern myself with providing our residents with fire EMS and police department services to keep ours safe. And I'm not implying that we fund any of these capital purchases by collecting fees, but what does giving up thousands of dollars every year mean? Say we had to say no in funding our fire department with personal carbon monoxide detectors, or even purchasing batteries for CPR equipment or other life-saving equipment for our EMS, or maybe even a new bulletproof vest for our police. And it is for this reason I cannot support this resolution, and will be voting no.
Any other comments?
May I make a comment, Mr. Mayor?
Please.
So as you know, I'm in liaison to the finance department, very heavily involved in budget, so finance is my expertise. So I'm going to look at this at a different angle. And thank you, Mr. Gambuti, for bringing up some of those financial sort of concerns, et cetera. What I want to say first is I feel the resolution is not, to me, is not a Second Amendment issue. That was already determined in the courts, right? It is not an easy gun access issue. It's not an affordability issue, right? As Mr. Gambuti, you brought up that there are other fees to owning a gun, right? Whether it's range fees, et cetera. $150 is not going to, it's not that marginal fee that's going to deter someone from getting a gun, et cetera. This is about taxation. It's about fees that the state is making mandatory on a local municipality. Now, I've only been doing this for 3 years. I don't know if there's a precedent of this. But from a budget standpoint, for us, when we charge a resident a fee, it's because we've determined the cost of that, right? So a pet license costs, I don't know, $50 because we've determined what it costs us as a borough to complete that fee for the pet owner. So for us, I want to align all the fees with the cost. Now, there are costs involved in background checks, et cetera, but for us, there has been no incremental cost, right? So I talked to the police department. There are hours that they put in for background check, but we didn't have to hire another police officer, right? It was in there. It's what they do. They do background checks for soccer. They do background checks, right, for recreation, et cetera. So, if I feel like this is a state fee, and it's the $150, and it's good for all counties, no matter how much it costs, whether it's, Patterson, whether it's Newark, whether it's Burlington, Cape May, et cetera. I want to make sure that, the fee itself aligns with our own costs. So I would reject this, meaning, not have the state mandated to us. If we want to do our own fee because there is a burden or there is a specific cost, then I would do it locally. But this is for me, a more general issue. It's not necessarily a gun issue. It's not a Second Amendment issue. It's the state telling us that we have to charge a resident a certain amount for something that we don't know what the cost is, right? And so it's misaligned, and this could go, and it might not be the issue for this. It might be something else down the road. They might say, well, for a pet license or for recreation, you have to charge $300 a player in recreation or something like that. To me, we need to determine our own fees based on our own costs, and that's why I support this resolution.
Okay, any other comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Please.
if I could. I'm going to be repeating a little bit what everyone said, but I also have another angle on gun permits. First, let me say that I'm in no way opposed to the Second Amendment of our Constitution. The right to bear arms, whether it be for hunting or personal protection, is solid, although it's been twisted over the years to match people's different political agendas, but it still stays strong, and I still believe in it. When someone applies for a gun permit, they pay a fee to the state. The state sends a percentage of those fees back to the town. In our case, it's $2,500, $3,000. Is that correct, Anna? So the state send us back fees from this permit?
We get to 150.
Right. So in Old Tappan, it's over $2,000. The same person also applies, has these other expenses. cost of the firearm itself, which could be $200, could be $700. I did a little research, average $300-400. Cost of ammunition, $1 a bullet from what I've been told by our police chief. Cost of training, a few $100. Cost of continuing training, a few $100. You can get up to over $1,000, which is just an estimate. Don't hold me to that. Paying $150 for a permit is one of the lower expenses on this list. So when you add it all up, I don't feel like it creates a hardship for the prospective gun owner who can afford the other items on the list. Thank you, Mr. Zarian, for bringing that up. If we were to apply the same logic to other fees in the borough, then we should return zoning and building permit fees, but we can't because we expend time and money into each and every permit. Our police department spends time doing background checks as well as other gun-related paperwork, which requires salary and benefits, all paid for by you. A sergeant may take up to 8 hours if the permit is more complex than other permits, and some of them are. A sergeant, 8 to 10 hours is over $1,000 in salary and benefits. Most permits only take 3 to 4 hours, so that's a lot less. So just like a building permit fee that is assessed to the applicant to cover these costs, it's the same. So I'm looking at this not as a gun thing, as a permit thing. Unlike other fees, the state returns a portion of this particular fee to the borough. I would be in favor of using that money for, not exclusively for, but gun safety education or other items that as a mayor and council deem worthy. Also, as a matter of privacy, and this hasn't been brought up yet, the way it is set up today, no one except the police know who has a permit and who cannot, and it cannot be revealed with an Oprah request. If we return fees to individual residents, it would become part of public record, as well as part of an audit trail where anyone can Oprah this information. Their names will also be announced during the consent resolution at our public meetings that are on video. Some people don't want their names announced that they have a concealed carry permit, but this would, if we pass this, then we're going to be issuing checks to people. We're going to be announcing their name. If people are very passionate about this, they should contact their state representatives and look to the state of New Jersey to modify the law. If you take away the word gun, it becomes just a permit application. And I feel it should be treated as the same as any other permit application, which includes a fee for the services that the borough provides. For these reasons, I don't see the need to be in favor of this, so I will be voting negative. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any further comments on the resolution before us tonight?
I'd like to make some additional comments. Some of the things that were mentioned, so regarding man hours to do the background check for, and saying that the $150 fee helps cover that. As I mentioned before, the same background check, if somebody goes in and says, hey, I want to get my FID, firearms ID card, for those that don't know, and I want to get a pistol purchase permit. They pay whatever the fee is to the state. I believe it's, don't quote me, I know each permit is whatever, 25, that's something else that's being challenged in court. But anyway, the same amount of time is being covered to cover those background checks. The only difference is the state says, hey, just because you're going to get a concealed carry, even though we're going to do the same background check, we're going to charge you another $150 to do the same background check we do if you weren't doing that, if you were just getting an FID. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay. So, and then I'm a little confused. You said that there's a return from the state, and somebody said $150. What?
I think you misspoke.
Right. That's not the $50 fee that you pay to the state police when you apply. That goes to what they have. I think it's the victims fund, the victims fund. That's it. The state police doesn't even keep that. All right. So it's put in there, and to yet I don't know of any victims, but that's what they have. I'm sure the state will find something to reallocate those resources. And the $150, they don't send us any money back. This is what we're discussing, the municipal portion. That is only being asked to collect, being collected by the municipality for the CCW, not for anything else. So I don't know. I just want to make sure that we're just everyone's on the same page. You're entitled to your opinion, you're entitled to your vote, but some of the stuff that was said was not accurate. Yeah, that's all I want to say, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, let me put the final point, if I may, on this. I got just a note in front of me, so let me read it. Let me be clear that I support our Second Amendment right, but I don't feel this resolution challenges this right. Many are unhappy that the legislators of the state of New Jersey enacted what some call excessive fees to carry a concealed firearm. Why? I cannot answer that question, as the Borough of Old Tappan was not asked to comment nor involved in this decision. As I reported last meeting, there are many unfunded mandates that Old Tappan and our residents must adhere to based on the decisions of our legislators. Many I do not agree with. Our police, first responders, golf course department, Department of Public Works, all face increased training, increased licensing fees, and other mandates. These fees collected, although not a lot, are used by Old Tappan to balance our budget for all residents and help pay for a part of many of these unfunded mandates. Agree or disagree, Old Tappan will follow the lawful enactment of legislation and follow the laws of the state of New Jersey, whether you agree or disagree. And those are my comments on this resolution. So we have a motion and we have a second. Gene, roll call, please.
Councilman Benagi?
No.
Councilman Boyce?
No, I didn't get much time to speak. I had time, but I didn't raise my hand yet, and I had some thoughts. But no, with the caveat, I don't think this is quite thought out yet properly, but I think there's more work to be done on this topic. That was enough.
Councilman Guan?
Yes, with determination if we want our own local fee.
Councilman Marty?
Yes.
Councilman Neal?
No.
Okay, the resolution is not passed and will not move forward. Thank you for everyone's commentary, opinions, and I hope